to my YouTube channel. Hi, my name is Sequoia Reads, and today we are going to go through 25 books that I want to read in 2025. These are must-read books for me, and we are going to read them. We're going to enjoy them, and maybe even vlog some of the experience while reading them. Maybe? I don't know. I probably am going to, because I love recording my reactions because I'm kind of crazy. Starting off with the pre-order books, I have 3 that will be delivered in January, and I am so excited to read all of them. I don't know why I didn't request time off of work, because they come out like one after another, but that's okay. That's okay, that's fine. The first book on my list is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. That is book 3 in the Fourth Wing series, and I am so nervous. I am quite literally scared to read it because of the ending of Iron Flame, which if you didn't read it, you have to read it because my world was rocked. I literally wish I recorded my reaction when I finished Iron Flame, because I literally was hysterical. I thought it was a nightmare. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not spoiling it. Not spoiling it for you. You have to read it yourself. Staying in the fantasy world, because that is the world I live in every single day of my life. It is Where Did You Go by Janine O'Reilly. That is the 3rd book in the Infatuated Fae series. And book 2, oh my god, the twists and the turns and the confusion that I felt while reading that book was almost as bad as How Does It Feel? The 3rd book on my list is Phantom by H.D. Carlton, and if you don't know anything about me, it is that the absolute first book that got me back into reading as an adult was Haunting Adeline. I said, oh, this sounds interesting, let me just get into it, and I literally, that caused my spiral into dark romance, which then led me to ACOTAR and Fourth Wing, and now here I am. Absolutely crazy, like insane. But Phantom is following Gigi's story, which is Adeline's grandmother, who was unalived and stalked. And it's a story about her stalker and her, and I am so excited to read it. I pre-ordered it like 2 weeks ago because I forgot it was coming out. So I have the list in front of me in physical books, and I have it separated into fantasy and romance, and then there's 2 that are uncategorized because I don't know what they fall under. So we're gonna start with those because why not? Get them out of the way. The first book in the uncategorized list is Lady Macbeth by Ava Reed, and literally look at how stunning the cover is. Absolutely gorgeous. My nails match. I love it. Also, y'all, it is so pretty. I took the dust jacket off. Death touched, poison-eyed, witch-kissed. And then, absolutely stunning. This book is a retelling of William Shakespeare's most famous villainess. This story is giving her voice a past and pretty much saying screw you to the story that all these men have written for her. I am so excited to read this. This is giving female rage, and I am excited. I am so excited, and it is so stinking pretty. Speaking of eating up, this book is going to eat me up. The Fabric of Our Souls, I have heard, is gut-wrenching. Literally, I'm nervous, biting my nails nervous, because what if this breaks my heart? I feel like it's gonna break my heart. But because of that, I want to read it because I love traumatizing myself. It is my favorite pastime, actually. Couple fun facts about me. I am a sucker for a good dark romance book. I'm also a sucker for a good contemporary romance book and a good fantasy read that then leaves me hanging and feeling like a mental patient, which I am. But let me tell y'all, this list, besides the pre-orders, is freaking huge, and I don't know if I can do it, but I am determined that I'm gonna do it. The first book on my list, I am currently 36% of the way through, is Five Brothers by Penelope Douglas. I have not read Trust 6 Venom yet, which is the first book in this series. So I picked this one up and I just had to read it, and I'm not regretting it. I want the Yeager brothers for myself. I want all 5 of them, not at once, because I don't Five Guys is not for me, okay? Five Guys is not for me, but these 5 brothers, Christian is a very lucky woman. That is all I have to say. This next book just got released recently, and it is Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. I read Forget Me Not and I loved it. I think I read it in 2 days. It was supposed to be for a book club that nobody joined. Imagine that. But anyways, I read it because I wanted to. It was so good, and I am so excited to get into this. I love the way Julie Soto writes her romances, and I absolutely love how she checks off every single box in the cheesy romance that I want, and I hope this book is just as good. I am so excited. And this book is a little bit of a left field choose for me, because I don't normally go for books like this, especially young adult. I've read a few, not my favorite, but that's okay. I'm trying to get more into it. I'm also getting out of my comfort zone this year. That is my main goal. But Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. All of my booktubers that I watch have read this series and they absolutely loved it, and I'm hoping I also love it. I'm excited, I'm nervous, scared. Tell me if it's worth it. Should I return it? I don't know. Sticking in the contemporary romance field or side of things, I read my first Emily Henry book last year, and it was purely because of Sarah Caroli, and let me tell you, she was not wrong, okay? Bestie girl was not wrong. So I got Book Lovers. This was actually gifted to me from one of the old doctors that I worked for. She's also an Emily Henry girl, and I absolutely love her so much. And then I got Beach Read by Emily Henry, and these are 2 books that I am determined to read this year. If I don't read them, come for me please, because I love Emily Henry. She's so good, and her books are they're so pleasing, like, to look at. And if I like this book, guess what? I'm getting the special edition. Speaking of special editions, I am going to start my Rena Kent journey, and I am so scared. I got the special editions that have sprayed edges, and the color palette screams spooky. Screams spooky, screams dark romance, and I'm so excited. In 2024, I dipped my toes into a couple of thrillers, and I absolutely love them, and I've had some people trying to convince me to read this author's book forever. All of her books, actually. I'm talking about The Inmate by Frida McFadden. I am nervous. I have 2 of her books, actually 3. I have the second book in the Housemaid series. I have The Perfect Son and The Inmate, and this is one that I want to make sure that I read this year. This book is written by an indie author friend, T.A. Cruz. It is Have You Seen Sarah Baker? And no, I have not. I am going to figure out the story. We are going to get to the bottom of it together. This year, actually last year, because it's a new year, I read That's Not My Name, and I was not ready for the ending. The ending grabbed me by the neck, dragged me down a flight of stairs, and spit in my face and said, "Gotcha, bitch," because what the fuck. But this is the next book, No Place Left to Hide, and I have a feeling it is going to do the exact same thing to me. And I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. But I read the other one in like a day and a half, so I know I'm gonna fly through this. I just know. The last thriller book on my list is The Only One Left by Riley Sager, and I'm excited. I've heard this is like a little gothic-y thriller, and now we're moving on to the fantasy side of things, which I'm very excited about because I love me a good fantasy book, in specific a good romantasy book, but that's okay. The first book is Immortal Dark by, I don't know how to say that, but this is a vampire fantasy. I'm pretty sure it's YA, but it is so pretty. Moving on, we have Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I am so excited for this. I'm actually 12% of the way through this, but I have ADHD and I decided I didn't want to read it at the time. It's a bit thick, but that's nothing. Speaking of thick, we have Fairytale. Absolutely stunning. I love it so much. I'm so excited to read this. This is like a gothic fantasy. Pretty sure it's a romantasy too. I've also heard that like a good portion of this book is just yada blada, has absolutely nothing, and it's a lot of info dump. And the font is very small, so a girl will be reading this on her Kindle, but I needed it for my shelf because it's beautiful. I Am Armageddon by C.L. Cabrera, and I met C.L. Cabrera at a dive bar in Virginia, and she told me about this book. I also met Neander, same situation, and I got both of their books, and this is about a nurse who pretty much saves the world. This is if you're a healthcare worker and you're looking for some representation in the books that you read and enjoy, I recommend their work. Both women are fantastic, and I know this story is gonna eat because also she put character art in there for me and I still have not taken it out, so I appreciate it. I'm so excited to read this. Just can't say that word. My dyslexic brain does not want me to say it, but I promise I'm excited. Then we have this big ass behemoth, When the Moon Hatched. My mom got this book for me. I don't know why the first book has to be this thick. The cover is so beautiful. I just hope it lives up to all the hype. Please, a book my best friend Danielle has been trying to get me to read forever, and I just have not had the guts or the courage, but it is Serpent and the Wings of Night. Trying to get into vampires again, so hopefully this does it for me, because last winter I went down the Sarah J Maas rabbit hole and I loved it, but I stopped after ACOTAR because I just wasn't getting the same feeling from the other books as I was from ACOTAR. But that is not going to stop me this year. This year we are going down the Maas hole, okay? We are going to be reading the Crescent City series. I only have the first two, but I will be getting the third one when it gets time. I have already started this book. I stopped it because it's freaking heavy, but I was listening to it on Audible too, so I think we're gonna do that again. And this book, same story, freaking huge, freaking heavy. We are going to continue this journey with Sarah J Maas. Then we're gonna go into the Throne of Glass series. I have the first 4 books in this series. I'm very, very scared, and I've read a lot of stuff online that makes me scared, but that's not gonna stop me because I was scared to get into ACOTAR and I did it and I loved it. And so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start with Throne of Glass, work our way up. I've watched so many videos about the reading order of these books. Once again, I don't have all of them, but when it becomes time, I will have them all. My husband is gonna hate me because he's gonna have to find more space, but that's okay. If you made it to the end of this video, I thank you so much for sticking around and watching me ramble about all of the books that I'm so excited to read this year. But with that being said, what is the #1 book that you cannot wait to read this year? For me, I'm stuck between 2, Onyx Storm and Where Did You Go? And I know both of them are going to rip my heart out of my chest, but that is okay because we love them.